Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. It's myself and Lee Judges in the house. And we've got our good friend Gunnar Russ. Russ will hog in the place as well. I've been with Russ most of the day. We've been having a drink before the game, see each other after the game, and now we're talking after the game. So big up to you. Good to see Judges as well today. Bit of a rush at the end there, to be honest, trying to get back for this. But we're here, people. We're here. Make sure you hit like and you hit subscribe. Make sure that you're following our sponsors for today, which is OK Jerseys. The code, as you'll see down the bottom here, is Lee. You'll get 8% off of any shirt. They're £15, but you will get that 8% off if you use that code, and you can get any name and number on the back. All the World Cup shirts are out now as well, so make sure that you do go and show them some love. Big up to everyone that's in the chat. Make sure you've hit like and subscribe, and we're getting towards our new target. And yeah, I'm with Lee and Russ. Lee, how did you think that went?
About that, I had someone come up to me today and said they used the code, the 8
good
8 discount, showed me the shirt and everything like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, fantastic. It said like what was good about it more than anything was ordered it, bosh, it was done and delivered. So our man is doing the business, you know what I mean, down his end, like, you know, and we're trying to do it down our end. But that was very nice. So big up if you are getting the shirts, especially with the World Cup coming up. I'm waiting. He's on some holiday thing this week or something. He was telling me, Dan. Yeah. So because I'm wanting me. I want my cup final shirt, my Kevin Campbell cup final shirt. I want it.
Yeah, I'm going to get one of them as well, man. 100%. 100%. But yeah, I've also got my England World Cup one as well, because I do like following the nation in the World Cups and the Euros. Not too fussed about Nations League and friendlies though, but that's another story. But I will be getting that as well. So make sure you go and show them some love, OK Jerseys. Russ, how are you, bruv?
Yeah, all good. All good. Only a few pints today. Kept the old alcohol consumption down to a minimum.
Well done, mate. Is that because you're with me, or is that just in general?
No, just trying to just rein it in a little bit. It gets a bit heavy sometimes.
It does, doesn't it? It does, mate. 100% it does. But no, listen, it's a game I expected to be quite comfortable, turned out to be very comfortable. And I was actually speaking to some Wigan fans in a pub beforehand, because they were in the pub I was in, and they said, "Oh, what you thinking today?" I said 3-0. They went, "You're joking, and you'll be there at half time." I went, "Nah." And we were both wrong. It was 4-0 at half time. It was a comfortable first half. Let me tell you that. It was a very good first half. Now, I don't know about you boys, but I got confused. And I'll tell you why I got confused. I saw the team line up, thought, yep, no problem with that. No worries. Went into the concourse, had a chat, had a drink, had a bit of a social with the people I normally chat with. And I thought, oh, blimey, they're just about to kick off. I better go down. And I come down and I see Saka on a pitch. And I'm thinking, have I looked at the wrong team news here? What's going on? And yeah, Calafiori injured again, apparently. The old Tommy Asu himself has decided to get another injury. God knows how, but he has. And Saka plays in the 10. And I've got to be honest with you, I kind of liked it. I kind of quite enjoyed his performance there. I thought his role was good there. He's got on the ball a hell of a lot more. There's a lot of other people that have said in the past, play Saka in the attacking 8, play him in the 10. And I don't know, Judges, I quite liked Saka's performance. In fact, I liked our first half performance, mate. What did you make of it?
Yeah, very much so. I like that. Like, I'm with you in that camp, because I heard that Ben White was captain as well. Like, when I see Saka, I said, that ain't Ben White. It looks like Saka out there. And we couldn't work out what was going on, because was looking. I said, Martinelli's out there, so that's not him. Madueke's out there. Jesus is out there. And we went through the whole bloody team, and then eventually got to Calafiori. Perhaps we should have started with Calafiori with his bloody record. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I'm with you. I quite enjoyed his. Do you know what? I'll say that. I was disappointed because I wanted to see Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield. I really wanted to see that. So when that weren't going to happen, yeah, sorry about that, Lee Highbury. I am cold. I've just come into the house. It's absolutely freezing here. I've got the fire on. I put the heating on, but it ain't warm in here at this moment in time, like that. So I'm trying to get warm. So yeah, and I'm thinking like really disappointed with that. But the disappointment of not seeing Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield was made up with, well, let's see what Saka could, because I've sort of said this is a role that could be for him, considering like it's not happening for him on the wide, and maybe, you know, that bit of electric pace, it may be trickery could be the thing for him. Very, very impressed with his performance, Dan. Very, very impressed with it, as I was with Eze. And I know what people are going to say, and I totally get that as well. oh, it's against the League One side and the poor League One side. Yeah, I get that, but you still got to play and beat what's in front of you. And I actually quite like that, and that's an experiment I think maybe we can use down the line. We were talking about in the pub afterwards, maybe like 4 certain games at home, not all games at home, but certainly teams that come in there and put the blocks in, that we can do that, like, you know. And before people going overboard about it and all that, like great finishes and all that. But I don't know about you, but there was no pressure on me on that game today, like, you know. Would me and Russ were talking about on the train home, would Jesus dink that over at Fulham with 20 minutes to go like he did in that game there? I don't know, like, you know. Madueke, great finish from Millie's was even better, by the way. That was a difficult finish, and he done it fantastically well. But very, very impressive first half. And I get it. People are going to turn around and say, well, why would it like out in the second? Sometimes in football, that's what happens. You know, you just think like, oh, we've won the game. What's the worst thing can happen now? Me getting injured. So I don't want to really get injured. So you just go through the motions of the second half. And I'll tell you what, how many games do you see, Dan, that are 3-0? Like, for instance, Man City versus Fulham, 3-0 at half time. What did it finish? 3-0. You know, there is that thing of taking the foot off the pedal. I think that we've done that. But ultimately, what's the goal? The goal is to get in the next round, whether you win it 10-0 or 1-0. It's about getting through. We've done that. We're in the next round, and look forward to the draw come Monday evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Russ, who stood out for you tonight, mate?
Norgard just showed me that he's got to be trusted more, and he's got to be given more time, more minutes. We can't be affording to grind Rice into the dust. We've got to. He's perfectly capable of playing there, or Zubimendi. Either position, I think he can play. Not so much box to box, but you know what I'm saying. He can. His forward passing was really lovely to see. Him and Eze linked up loads and loads of times. Getting that ball to Eze earlier, higher up the park, means he's more effective. He's not going to run a game from deep. Don't expect him to do that. He's not a left winger either. So yeah, and the finishing, as Lee said, no pressure on the result as such, because you know, fair play to Wigan, they came and give it a go, but they're just the quality. The golfing class is massive, and 3-0 up in 20 minutes, 4-0 up in 35. The game was done and dusted. What we got to see is when we've got Martinelli in them wide positions, he's got a chance to shoot. He's got to do what he did today, bang it across the keeper and in the far corner. He's capable of doing it, but we've got to see it in bigger games when it matters. When it really matters, not when you're like already 2 or 3-0 up. So for me,
great point.
I was well impressed. I thought Saliba had a tidy game, although he didn't have a lot. You know, he had the young lad Taylor, I think, to mark most of the game. He was 5'10" or something. He's not really going to give him a big problem. Square was tidy. I was pleased for the young lad to come on at the end, Salmon. He looked very tidy and composed on the ball as well. Loads of pluses to take out of it. So, as Lee said, I said to my mate Steve, I was sitting next to today, I said, don't expect this in the second half. Guys, this is going to be like Okie Kokie 2000. This is going to be batten down the hatches for them and us managing the game out and not, as you say, not getting any injuries. So yeah, just pleased overall. Norgard was a standout for me. I thought he was absolutely brilliant today. Showed what a quality player he is. But please, Arteta, please, when we get into the position, if we do get into the position where we are winning games, and give Rice or Zubimendi a rest, he's perfectly capable. He's a Danish international. He's a quality player. And we haven't really seen the best because he's not been given the chance yet. So I think he can be a really big player for us in the next 7 or 8 weeks. I really do.
Look, you make a good point about Norgard. He had that mad moment, didn't he, where he lashed out, he went to their striker. But other than that, I thought he was pretty much flawless. I thought he was excellent tonight, in fact. And he's been quite consistent. And I've said this a few times. Don't know why we haven't seen him that much more. I think Arteta has been reluctant to play him for whatever reason. And I do think that Rice and Zubimendi have played a hell of a lot of minutes this season. Couldn't believe it when Zubimendi was getting warmed up to come on. I thought, what are we doing, man? Just leave him. What are we bringing him on for? But Norgard has been someone who in the first few games for us, I thought, oh dear, he don't quite look ready. And in the last few games he's played for us, I think he's been exceptional. In fact, I think he's been one of our better players when he has played, and he's come into those games, whether it be squad rotation or whether it be cup games or Champions League games against Kairat. I do think he's been one of our better options, to be honest. But the attack today, Lee, for the first time, looked very free-flowing. I know it's against Wigan, and I hear it, right? But all you can do is beat what's in front of you. And it's a test and experience today to see what we were like going forward. And I thought we were free-flowing. For all of them played really well in the first half. Saka we've mentioned, but I think Eza deserves to mention too. His 2 assists. I thought Madueke, Martinelli and Jesus, they're 3 players I did alongside Eza. They want to score tonight, and they all did. And although it was kind of an own goal, Eza was kind of frustrated Eza, really. They didn't score. I think he wanted that goal and probably deserved that goal. But going forward tonight, something we've not really had we've had some concerns about. Arsenal weren't concerned tonight. I thought attacking wise, we were great in those 4 and 4, bruv.
Yeah, and exactly that, like Dan. You know, and how you got to look at it, and is this say like they didn't perform today? You'd be going, oh well, they should be performing against weaker opposition, and they didn't do it. What I see today was, it was weaker opposition, and they showed their class, showed that they are a cut above, and that was the positive for me today. You know what I mean? Listen, is it a perfect game for Eze to come back to after what happened on Thursday? Probably. You know what I mean? That was the sort of game. But he could have fluffed his lines today, if you be honest. But he didn't. He produced. And what I liked about it today, I don't know if you noticed it, like, you know, the first one he put on a plate for Madueke, and the second one that he put a plate on for Martinelli. 4 or 5 players went to Eze and, you know, were congratulating him just as much as the goal scorer. I thought that was prominent. Like, you know, obviously, like, the guys feel that he probably has been struggling with a little bit of confidence and whatever, like, you know. But I think that was a good mentality from him today. He come back, played really well, wanted the ball, and you can only, as you say, you can only do what's in front of you. But if he'd have fouled today, people would have been going, oh, look, he ain't good enough and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But he done well today, and I'm pleased for him that he's done well today because he needed it. He needed that performance today. And what I liked about him also is 4 or 5 times he had shots today. Unlucky with one was a great save from the keeper in the second half, by the way. And I liked his performance. So delighted with that. I'm with you on this bringing Zubimendi on. Like, you're 4-0 up. Couldn't you give the young kid a go? Like, on today, I think, like, why not? You know, you're through. 10 minutes to go. Do you need to risk Zubimendi? You know, sometimes I do panic a little bit about some of his decisions, Mikel. Like, you know what I mean? The game's won. You know, he put it on the goalkeeper, which was, I thought, a fantastic thing to do. So well played for that. I like that. Well, why couldn't he just done it with the kid that obviously wasn't in the squad, was he? But he come into it because of the injury to Calafiori. But for me, like, listen. If you're a manager, apart from the Ben White injury, which I think was more fatigue than anything, I don't know, and Calafiori, like, you know, who's now becoming a concern, I felt that, you know, that's a good day's work for the manager and the players. You know, good 4 goals. I don't know. I might be being a bit silly when I say this. Did they go in at half-time? The manager said, look, you know, we've won the game now. Just, you know, nothing silly. You know, no silly tackles, no this, no that. It does happen, Dan, you know what I mean? So it might well have happened in that, like, you know, let's not go overboard. And the other thing that I want to say is, you know, we've done the job very, very well today. But all around this FA Cup, apart from Chelsea, everybody else has not really gone through like easily like we have, like as well as Chelsea, like, you know. I looked at some results. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't see the Man City game, but it's 2-0 against Salford. You would have expected more at home. I see that Leeds went to penalties today. You know, so they weren't all, you know, Fulham were losing the last time I see it, and then I checked the results and they'd won 2-1. I think Sunderland didn't have it easy at Stoke, by the way, neither. So, you know, it's not a gimme. It's not a gimme in these games. Wolves, you know, in the mud today, like, you know, got through and well done to them. But, you know, there was no real easy ties for anybody today, as far as I'm aware. So it was good that we just made it very, very easy for ourselves today, like, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it is good to see Eze play well today, and it was also good to see all the three front runners scoring goals today. Somewhere along the line, Dan, one of these guys has got to step up, whether it be Saka, whether it be Madueke, whether it be Martinelli or Trossard. One of these players now has got to say, right, we have to win this league. To win this league, one of us has got to score goals, and I don't think you should be relying just on Gyökeres neither. Like, you know, someone of these guys has got to do it, and that's what I was pleased with Eze and Saka today. You know, Saka 45 minutes, but that was a good 45 minutes. It's something that we can maybe look at in the future. But I thought that the midfield today was my plus, if you like. I felt that they done okay. And listen, those teams like Wigan and all that, what are they going to do other than, you know, turn up? They're going to give it 100%, and they did. They put a few tackles in, run around a little bit. That's a good workout for us today, and you know, I like what I see today, particularly in the first half, of course.
Yeah, Russ, the attack. What do you make of it at the moment, Eze in particular in this role in the 10?
When we've got a bit of room to play, we can beat anyone. But when we're facing a low block, we just struggle big time. It's just the way it is. I mean, Manchester City struggle against the low block as well. They're not immune from it. They've managed to find a way around it with a new signing, Semenyo. So that's them. They've managed to find a way around it. He scored a few crucial goals for them. So yeah, you know, this sort of game is always going to be a little bit easier for our front 3-4 because the pressing is not as good. The technique of the players isn't as good. A bit more room to play in, and obviously once the first goal's gone in, then they're really struggling because they've got to come out a little bit more, and there's more room. So yeah, it's as Lee said, they've got to step up, and they've got to start producing now in more difficult games. It's the only thing that worries me because they don't seem to do it. They seem to miss easy chances. The chances they put away today, they'd be missing against Forest, and they'd be missing against Man United and Liverpool. And you know, to win leagues, you've got to open teams up, and you've got to play with a bit more guile and a bit more goal threat. When you're going through games and you have one shot or two shots on target, you know, it's just we've got to start pulling the trigger earlier, and we've got to start putting the ball in to the front players earlier. And that's down to the midfield, not just the front players. They've got to supply, and they've got to turn up and do that instead of just going round and round in circles, keeping the ball. Go through players, take risks. We've got the pressing and the ability to get back behind the ball very, very rapid if we do lose the ball. So take risks, take more risks, trust your defenders, and that's what I expect to see from now. And I don't want to see too much caution, especially when we're playing a team like Wolves who's really struggling. I mean, even Man United went there and won about 4-1, I think. So we've got to go there and we've got to put them to the sword, and we've got to do it from the get-go, not wait till the second half. We've got to do it. We've got to send a message out. You want to come toe-to-toe with us, you're going to have a battle. So that's what I'm looking for when we play Wolves Wednesday. I want to see Gyökeres on the score sheet. I want to see Trossard on the score sheet. I want to see a clean sheet, and I want to see a dominant performance. I don't want to see any struggling and not being able to create a chance for like 78 minutes. I want to see us go for it from the off. Let's play like champions to be like champions.
Look, I hear you, and I think the attack is something that I've enjoyed watching in games like tonight. And then there's been other games I've been incredibly frustrated. And I thought tonight Eze was very good in terms of his dictating the game. Thought he set the tone, set the press, and I thought he was creative. Got on the assist, not the score sheet, but I think he was frustrated, and I liked that attitude when he came off. He was like, needed to have scored. He was frustrated that he didn't. He had a couple of chances that were blocked. He just weren't going to fall for him. Martinelli, likewise, I think should have done better of a couple of chances, but did get onto the score sheet. Madueke scored tonight. Jesus scored tonight, although it was kind of went down as an own goal as such. I was a big fan of what I saw. So I do look at it and think that there's a kind of games where we look really good going forward, and I need to see that more consistently because I think Arsenal have got the players out there. There's no excuses for that. And I think the strength in depth is there as well. You know, if you imagine we've still got Havertz and Marino, Ethan's on loan. You've still got Saka, we've spoken about. Erdegaard's still got to come back. Got Kai Havertz as well. So Arsenal have well stacked. And I think that for me, Lee, is where I'm kind of going next.
Can I just jump in for 1 second before we go to Lee? What you said about Saka, me and Lee was having this conversation a little while back about when Saka comes back, perhaps it's time for a role change because it's easier on his legs. If you're running up and down that wing, you know our winger and our fullbacks, they have to go through so much graft at speed all the time. Give him a chance to get back to match fitness. Give him a slightly different role inside the park, which we've done today. And it's because he's got so much skill and technical ability on the ball. He hasn't got to be running up and down that flank, full pitch for like 70, 80 minutes. Give him that role in the middle. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's a little bit calmer. And he can score goals from there because that's the position he ends up from the wing anyway. So he's got the talent to score with his left foot cutting him. He ain't frightened of having a dig from outside the box. I think that's the way forward until he gets back to full speed. Give him that. We've got enough players who can play wide. We've got Jesus, we've got Madueke, we've got Trossard, we've got Martinelli. They can all play left, right. So give the man, you know, his head in the middle, and I think it'll surprise us. It'll give teams something completely different to think about as well.
Yeah, it's a good point, Lee, isn't it? Because Saka and Erdegaard have still got to come back to full fitness. We know that Havertz is out for a few weeks now, but I think the strength in depth is something I've noticed this whole season, not just today. Mikel Arteta seems to now have faith in this squad. And I don't think he did last season before. He didn't want to play Sterling, so he overloaded Saka. He didn't want to bring on Reece Nelson or Lokonga or Fabio Vieira. There's only really Eddie and Nketiah that he used to utilise quite a lot. Everyone else he used to just not use. He didn't trust them. Even Smith Rowe got into that bracket at the end.
Can we blame him, Dan? We can't blame him, can we?
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, you can blame him to the point where him and Edu made those signings, so they're your signings, use them. But if you don't rate them, then which he shouldn't have because they weren't good enough, let's just say how it is, then that's fair. I think he does rate them now, Lee. I think he does look at that bench and think there's good enough to start as well as sort of come on. And I feel like Norgard, Lewis Skelly, and maybe Ethan, who's now gone out on loan, are the only three that can kind of feel not hard done by, but feel like they could have deserved more minutes. Everyone else, I think, has played a part. And I think that's what's important this season, to go on all four fronts, bruv.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I would say is, like, you know, Jesus was a starter for us a couple of years ago. You know, I know injuries have happened and everything like that, but he was one of those players that was brought to be one of the main men, like, you know, all of a sudden now he's a squad player, and a bloody good one, by the way, to have, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've got no problems whether he starts or whether he doesn't, like, you know, and comes off from the bench. He seems to be contributing for us in the roles that he's doing, which is something that's really, really good. You have to say that with Martinelli as well. Martinelli, whether he comes on or he starts, he's involved in the games. It's not very often that he's not, once or twice this season. The same with Trossard. Trossard and him seem to be sharing that role. And Madueke, like today, you know, I know it's lower opposition today, but he must be looking at that today, you know, going home and going, do you know what? I'm a backup to Saka, but if they do, if the manager decides to play Saka in that role of Odegaard and also, of course, like Havertz and Eze's not quite doing it, you know, I've got a chance to play on the right here. And also Martinelli will be thinking that as well, like, oh, there could be a chance for me to play more often. So these guys have got to produce when they get the opportunity. And I think, to be fair to most of them, on most occasions they have done, you know, hence why we're in the final of the League Cup, hence why we're in the fifth round of the FA Cup, Dan, because in the past we've made these changes. Oh, and love behold, we've gone out in the early rounds of the FA Cup or the early rounds of the League Cup. This time around, we've we've gone deep in the League Cup like last season and this season. So I do think there is definitely a little bit more in squad depth in there. Like, and we've always said this. I've always said this. You have a look at the League Cup. It's the team with the strongest squads get to the finals of those. Like, and I mean, like, you know, you look at it in the past. Man City have won it so many times. Chelsea, when they had the biggest and best squad, were always getting to the final, weren't they? Like, you know, Liverpool and good old Arsenal weren't, because basically we was only really built for one competition and one competition only.
We were sacrificing it, Lee, as well. We were
exactly, Russ. You know, and there was times when I do go on to this story quite a bit. Walking out of West Ham 2 seasons ago, saying that this is the last time I'm going to say, oh well, I accept going out of that, because I've been part of that. Saying, oh, well, you know, do you mean lose at Brighton? Well, we're not really, you know, bigger fish to fry, or what is a saying, we've got bigger things to do and all that. Like. And I said, no, you know, we should be challenging for every trophy. Not saying you're going to win them, but challenging. And here we are now, 2 years down the line. We're in the League Cup final. We're all looking forward to getting to go to Wembley and get tickets for that and whatever. Like, there's a buzz about it when there's a final, isn't there? Like, I don't know about you, but I'm buzzing for it. And you know, we're still in the league. Champions League is on the back burner at the moment, as we know. But the FA Cup is now 5th round. I think it's the first time we've got that. Is it 6 years since we got? Since we won it was the last time we got to the 5th round. So, you know, and listen,
since we won it in 2020, we've only beaten two teams, and that's Palace and Oxford. And I'm like, come on. We needed to do better. Now, obviously, this season's different. We've beaten Portsmouth and Wigan, but you can't win 2 games and lose the others. We lost to Liverpool, we lost to Man City, we lost to Man United, and there's another team we lost to as well. Southampton, we lost to Nottingham Forest.
Southampton. But then, you know, a couple of years ago, we got knocked out of the FA Cup, and they're all off to Dubai. You know what I mean? Having a nice time in Dubai when it's pouring with rain and cold and all that, like, you know. So they could have done that this week, you know, said, do you know what? Let's not worry about it. We can have a week in Dubai in the beginning of March. But they didn't, you know what I mean? And so I do think there is a different mentality with all this, like, you know, and hopefully, like, we can get ourselves through into the next round. Who knows? And as we said, then you're in the quarterfinals. Anything can happen, and what was a good. I like it that we make a lot of changes in the FA Cup. I was saying to Russ on the way home, that was probably, depending on the FA Cup draw, Dan, and depending what happens in the first leg of the Champions League. That's the last game that we as fans and the players are going to have under no pressure. Mm-hmm. Right? You're going to go. Whether you're going to the game against Wolves or not, you're watching on telly. You're going to be nervous before that game, right? Mm-hmm. And certainly at Spurs come Sunday. Was you nervous today going into the game? Like, I weren't. I was just like, no. it was, you know.
Matter of how many, really, wasn't it? Matter of how many.
So, you know, so let's enjoy that there, because it's not going to be like that from now on. Every single game is going to be pressure and, you know, sometimes not enjoyable. And I know, like, people are saying that second half was boring. I didn't care. Like, it was nice to sit there. Yeah, just sit there.
It was easy though, wasn't it?
Just sit there and chill. You know what I mean? Like, I hope I'm bored out of my head and chilled on Wednesday and at Tottenham. Like, you know what I mean? Because we've done the business in the first half. But that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I love the FA Cup. I think it's been a bit of a travesty the last few years. We've had to sort of just go out of a whimper. But this is the first time. This is the first time since 2004, 2006 time that we've had a squad capable of fighting on all fronts. Let's have it right. We've been fed the scraps. You know, as far as league and FA Cup goes, you know, challenging on both fronts for like 20 years. So we're going to be pleased. If you ain't pleased now, something wrong with you. You know. There's got to be something wrong with you, because this is marvellous what we're seeing. All right, it's a little bit lacking in style and substance, but we was having a conversation with some Wigan fans, weren't we, Lee? And they were saying, although they've beaten Man City in a League Cup final, they were saying that they they hate the way Arsenal play. They just don't like. They just don't find it enjoyable to watch as neutrals, and they don't want us to win anything because of that reason. So I think that's got to change a little bit. I think we've got to be a bit more expansive and not chuck games away, but I think we've got to be a bit more dynamic in the final third than what we have been.
Yeah. I think that, you know, it was really interesting. We were talking to these Wigan fans today. Lovely people. You know what I mean? They were very friendly and all that. Like, and out of curiosity, we was just asking them, like, you know, who do you want to win the league? And they're going Man City. And I said, I can't believe that. Like, you know what I mean? That teams, all these teams don't want Arsenal to win it. Like, you know, and we're not saying that we should be like gun ho and you know, but we haven't got the most flamboyant strikers, have we? I look at other teams with strikers and everything like that, and I don't mean this horribly, like, you know what I mean. I'm not going to go out of my way to put Trossard on the back of my shirt, like, you know what I mean. I'm not really going to go out there and put Jesus on my back or Gyökeres. If I'll be really honest, Saka I might do, but there ain't, like, you know, like going back when we was winning the league last time, you know what I mean, you'd have probably like 20% Bergkamp, 25% Henry.
You've hit the nail on the head, Lee. You've hit the nail on the head. These people were true heroes, and guess why they were true heroes? Because they won stuff. So until these players actually win things, how can they be heroes? This is where people get it wrong. You've got to win stuff to be a legend.
Yeah. I agree, like, you know what I mean? But, like, you know, listen, I think that if you was, no disrespect to Trossard and the likes, you know what I mean? Sanchez never won a league for us, you know what I mean? He's if we had Sanchez in this team now,
we'd be walking this league.
We'd be walking this league, you know what I mean? I'm not being horrible, we'd be walking it, you know what I mean? Like, Noni Madueke, is he better than Theo Walcott? I don't think so. I think Theo was a little bit underrated in my mind, you know what I mean? But you get what I'm saying, like, you know, maybe that's not the greatest example, like, you know what I mean? Like, but an Ozil or someone like that, you know, and I loved it. I'm not saying I disliked. How can I say? I didn't dislike Oliver Giroud. Like, I actually thought he was decent, but he wasn't one of the players that I'm going to rush out to and get Giroud on me back.
You couldn't fall in love with them, Lee, could you? You couldn't fall in love with them and be excited when you see their name on the team sheet, like you did.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a horrible sort of way.
No. It's just a fact of life. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah, and I just think, like, you know, like that is where we're. So if we was to win the league with this strike force, it would be unbelievable, really. Like, you know what I mean? And listen, I'm not having to go at Giroud. You know what I mean? Like, Giroud would probably do a fantastic job for us now if he was in his prime. I don't know. So that's just how I feel about it. Like, I love, you know, you look at how can I. If you was to say, right, Lee, go and get a shirt, you've got to have a shirt, go and put someone on your back. I'm going Declan Rice, I'm going Saliba, I'm going Gabriel, Ben White, I'm going for the defensive sort of players, you know what I mean? Like, but when we won the title, I'm going for a Henry or a Bergkamp or a Perez, you know what I mean? Like, a Vieira definitely, like, but I weren't going for Sol Campbell and Tony Adams and Martin Keown. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing against them, like, you know what I mean? It's just
it's just how different we are now. It's just how we're built now.
There's a difference.
We're going to win it. It's going to be those lads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, Dan. There's a difference in the persona between a game saver and a game changer. When you're a game saver, yeah, you appreciate a good tackle and you appreciate destroying what the other team's doing. But a game changer, someone who creates, they deserve a little bit more respect from me, because that's the more difficult part of the game, scoring goals and creating goals. That's the most difficult part, agreed?
100%.
Yeah. Lundberg's another one being mentioned, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I agree.
Well, look, we all know if we win anything this season, it won't be the Madueke's, Martinelli's, Trossards, even the Sakas, Erdegaards. They're not going to be the ones we're going to be thanking. We're going to be thanking Declan Rice, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber. Those are the guys we're going to be thanking. So you're absolutely right. And I think they're the ones that people probably are getting on the back of their shirts, to be honest with you. But I wanted to mention, whilst we're on defence, someone today who, not just today, I think has been outstanding this season when called upon, man. And I'm a massive, massive fan of this signing. I really, 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 really like what I've seen from this guy, man. And it's not just today because Wigan's Wigan, right? But whenever he's called upon, I've really enjoyed his performance. And I tell you what I love about it, right? He rocked up at Anfield last minute. Saliba gets injured in the warm-up. He came in and he was flawless. I know he lost the game, right? But it was a Szoboszlai free kick. I thought he was excellent. And I thought, I'm really interested in this player. I'm intrigued by this player. It's clearly a player that Berta has done some work on. Arteta has been a fan of. Both of them deserve credit for this signing. 13, 14 million euros. Absolutely fantastic piece of business.
Oh,
what I liked even more was his performance against St. James's Park, where he made that mistake. And everyone went, oh, it's his first error. You know, he kicked it off, went off for a corner. They scored from it. But since that, right, he's come in and he's just brushed that mistake off and he's just looked flawless. He's looked confident. He's looked calm, composed. The attributes I see from him are similar to those of William Saliba when he burst onto the scene at Arsenal, where you look at the kind of composure and the level of quality that he's got and the confidence he has. He's younger than Saliba as well. At 21, you think this guy could be elite level. Like, he's that good. And I know Nkapie's had, you know, a lot of plaudits as well when he's come in. I'm really impressed by Mosquera, Russ. I think he's an exceptional signing so far.
What I love about him is his composure when he's coming out with the ball, and the speed of his decision making. He's a lot quicker. He's at half a second quicker than Saliba at choosing his pass, and that makes a big difference at this level when you're trying to find your winger or find your midfield player. And I've seen him play equally as well, left centre-back or right centre-back. Obviously, his preferred position, I believe, is right. But he was equally at home today playing on the left side. And he's rapid as well. I mean, he's got some serious pace. And he's really good in the air. That's what really disappointed me about that carbuncle of a goal we let in at Brentford, because Mosquera could have dealt with that. Gabriel didn't have to come out and do that. But that really bugged me, that did. And Odegaard getting all that stick for being weak. He was weak, but he shouldn't have been in that position. So, but that's all water under the bridge now. Yeah, I really like Mosquera. I think he's been probably with Zubimendi our best signings of the season. The squad depth now is fantastic. Yeah, I can't sing his. He just looks so. He looks like he's been in an Arsenal shirt for about 5 years. He's that good. He really is.
The only problem is keeping him, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's not going to be one of backup for many a year. I think
it all depends, Lee. It all depends. If you win things in your first year, you're going to have a bit more patience, aren't you? This is the bite bit now. This is the business end of it. We've got this squad now. We've got to start winning things to keep all these players happy and to stop them their heads being turned by the Real Madrids and the Manchester Cities, because it will happen. It will happen. I heard Szoboszlai, Liverpool probably not going to win much this year. Probably they might win the FA Cup. They might do well in the Champions League, but looking at the way they've been playing, probably not. He's saying he'd like to play for Real Madrid. You know, he's fishing about for a move. So, you know, when you're in this position, we've been in this position for 3 years now of not quite getting over the line. Now it's imperative to start keeping these players and show we're serious. And that's why we're all nervous, because we all know this is a really, really crucial season. That's why we've all got PTSD over the past 3 seasons, because we should have got this over the line by now. For whatever reason, we've managed to mess it up. And this is why everyone's panicking when the lead's getting reduced back down 7, 4, 6, 5, 4. We're all panicking because we've been on this gravy train before where we've been caught. And we're all laughing about the Blue Sharks circling, weren't we, a few weeks ago when they messed up against Tottenham and when they messed up in another game. I can't remember what the other game was. But meanwhile, we were messing up as well. We weren't putting our foot to the floor and getting away from them. And this is what worries me. It's why this game against Wolves is so important this week and the game at Spurs. We've got to win these 2 games. If we're serious about being champions, we've just got to go and win these 2 games. We really have. It's that important. No excuses. We can't be dropping no more points. We've got to maintain the lead, increase it, and we've got to get to that City game with a bigger lead than what we've got. So I just fear the mentality of the players isn't there yet to brush this aside, to brush the disappointment aside. If we were to fail again, I think the damage would be ridiculous. I just don't think a lot of these players would recover from coming second 4 years on the spin. I think, and the banter levels for the fans. I mean, we got Wigan fans singing second again, ole to us. I mean, come on. I mean, we've had enough of it.
Man.
We can't be having no more of this. We've got to get over the line this year. We really have. I've got my doubts. I've said to Lee on the way back, we had a conversation, didn't we, Lee?
Yeah.
I said, I've got my doubts we can do it. I just got this nagging feeling that we're going to...
Of course.
I can't put my finger on it. It's got a nagging doubt in my mind. It's PTSD. I know it is. It's stress.
You're not wrong though to think that. You're not the only one. A lot of people I speak to are like, do you think that's it now? And I'm like, in what respect? They're like, you think Arsenal won it? Like, nah, the opposite. Is that it? Have we lost it? There's so many people that are like down, and it was not long ago they were saying we're going to walk it. Now those same people are thinking, I think I might have gone too early. I don't know that we will do it now. But let me ask, I put a couple of questions together because there's a few questions that I was asked over the last couple of days that I wanted to ask you guys. Maybe we can discuss them. And it's moving on nicely segued. This is if Russ knew what I was going to talk about it. But the next few games are massive. Lee, I'll start with you.
12.
How many points do we need to take from these 4 games in the next 4? 12 is obviously what we can get. I feel we need 12. I can't lie to you. I feel we do.
12.
Yeah, 12. We've got to get 12. Listen. We need 12. You know, like 3 out. We were talking about this, funny enough, on the train coming home. 3 out of the next 4 games away from home. 4 of our last 5 games will be away from home. I don't know any other team that's had a run like that. Maybe 1 or 2 away games on the spin. But we've got, if you be honest, Dan, and let's be really, let's go through them, like, you know, and be subjective about it and try and be rational about it. Like, you know, Wolves are bottom of the league, right? Away from home. You got to take 3 points there. Spurs are 5th from bottom. Take away the narrative of a new manager and it's a North London derby. They're 5th from bottom. Okay. Then you go to Chelsea at home, which is going to be a difficult game. And the way they defended and played us in the League Cup is probably what we're going to have to endure again. But we've got to take risks in that game where we didn't take no risk in the semi-final because we didn't have to. So that could leave us a little bit open. And then we go to Brighton, who I do believe are in the bottom half of the table. We then go at some stage, I think our last 2 away games, other than Manchester City, are West Ham and Crystal Palace, London derbies, but both teams in the bottom half of the table. If you look at that, and that was Manchester City's fixtures, you'd be sitting here going, well, that's it, we ain't catching them. We're not going to win this league. So we have to be flawless in our next few games. We do. We have to be. We have to beat Wolves. We have to beat Spurs. We have to beat Chelsea. We have to beat Brighton. We have to win every single game up until Manchester City.
Yeah.
We need to go to Manchester City 7 points clear, minimum. Then if you beat Man City, you're 10. But that's how I've got to look at it. And if we can win our next 4 games, Dan, what else is more important about that 12 points? Is there's another 4 games chalked off.
Yeah.
So for me, there's no excuses for our next few games. They've got to turn up and perform. And I've got no... I know that they're going to all be nervous. It'll be a nervous wreck Wednesday night. I'll be a nervous wreck at the North London derby. You know what I mean? I'll be, don't, you know what I mean? Like, I might have to take a nappy with me. And I will be at the Chelsea game as well. I'm not going to be relaxed and enjoying those games, like, you know, and in the games against like Wolves and Brighton, I'll be there until we score. You know what I mean? Like, you know, once we score, I might slightly relax a little bit, like, you know, unless we start defending again. But I don't think you could look at, you know, I mean, if someone's saying that if we get 12 points from that, fantastic. If we get 10, say, from that, what that does, Dan, is probably put it in their hands as well. It'll still be in our hands, but it'll be in their hands. We do not want it to be in their hands at any stage. So for me, it's important that we win those games.
Ross, same.
We'd have had some wiggle room if we'd have beaten Liverpool at home and beaten Man United.
Exactly what I said. Exactly the same as you.
That's 5 points more on the roster, and that's, you know, now you're starting to think, well, that's 4 bad results we can have. We can only afford 1 bad result now because we've got to play City away. Whereas before, that was we had a comfort blanket if we'd have beat United. Those 2 home games against United and Liverpool were shocking. They were shocking for a title challenging team. They were downright shocking, awful, absolutely awful. And the Forest one and the Brentford game. Well, I was just speechless after them games. I was speechless that how poor we were for a championship chasing team. And that's why I couldn't get my head around. I'm hearing people saying it's done. How can it be done? We've been down this road before. It ain't done.
I agree. I agree, bro.
4 points in front with 1 game left. That's when it's done. That's when the league title's won. It ain't won now. It's never has been won in January and February. It's always been won in March and April. If you're there in March and April, you've got a chance of winning it. And if you ain't, you haven't got no chance.
Let me ask this.
We have really let this slip. We was in such a position of strength, and we've really let it slip. It's really, really pissed me off, to be honest.
I've been frustrated with it for weeks, mate. Since the Liverpool at home, for me, that was the one. Wasn't even the Man United defeat. Like, that can happen. They're side on their day, but there's been some. Let me ask this, Russ. I actually start this with you because we spoke about this in a pub earlier, actually, and that's why I brought it up because someone asked me again today. Do you think we might regret doing no business in January, or do you think the squad's still in a good place?
We never learn. We never learn, do we? We never learn. This is what I'm saying about the previous 3 campaigns when we needed something as a pick-me-up in January and we did nothing. Kept our powder dry till the summer. Like the January before, I can sort of half accept it because Liverpool were running away with it. They were so far in front. But we never gave ourselves a chance to try and catch them. But then we did the business in summer. But you can't rest on your laurels in this game. And when you've got the injuries that we've had, you needed a pick-me-up. And I think the Semenyo thing was just a no-brainer. Go and get him. If it costs you 60 million quid, it's only 6 months left of his deal, just go and get him. Just go and get him. He's a game changer, that lad. And he wanted to come. So I couldn't get my head round. Don't tell me we're skint and we couldn't afford that player. I just really, and then to let Ranieri go, it made no sense to me. The whole of January window made no sense to me. To let them get Semenyo, which, you know, and he's scored loads of important goals from already, won them loads of points already. That was points they wouldn't have had. That's points they would have had and points we could have possibly had. I was really fuming with the club for not signing him. He's an Arsenal lad. We'd have had another one in the team that knows what it's all about, loves the club. We just fritted him away. I don't even know if we tried. That's what really annoys me. Even if we'd have tried and we'd have got City to pay more money, that would have been a sort of a hollow victory. But just let him go and really wound me up, that one. I must admit, I was told we were getting him. That's what made it worse. I was told November time we're definitely getting him. He wants to come, and then nothing. I was really, really fuming about that. I really was.
Lee?
Yeah, listen, I always said it like, recruit from you when you're, from strength recruit from one strength. And I look at that, go back to when we last won the league, 2003, 2004. We had Bergkamp, we had Henry, we had Wiltord, we had Perez,
Carnu.
Lundberg, Carnu. We still went out and got Reyes.
Yeah.
Wasn't just bought for them, but for the future as well. And I think that's where we've made a little bit of mistake, like just freshen things up a little bit, like, you know. And I think that if City do come and overtake us and all that, it will be because of what they've done in January.
Yeah.
You know, the two signings that they've made.
Two excellent signings, let's say it.
Does they really need Semenyo? Do you really need him? If that was us, would we have gone and got him? I don't think so. And, you know, look at the players that they've got. They've got Haaland, they've got Jerky, they've got Doco. Doco was playing really well. Foden that can play there. They had options out there, like, you know what I mean? And they went.
Still got that Marmouche and Savio as well, haven't they?
Yeah, so, you got to bring him into it as well. Yeah.
And he goes straight in the team. He ain't bought as a squad filler. He's gone straight in the team because he knows it's going to improve them.
Yeah, and I think
that's what we needed. We needed that improvement on that left-hand side, because that left-hand side, as good as Trossard can be in little patches and little spells during the season, as good as Martinelli can be every now and then, sometimes he goes 3 or 4 games, he's shocking, and then sometimes he comes on as a sub and he's good. That is a problem. That has been a problem area ever since Alexis Sanchez went. Ever since he went.
Now, Russ, is that we haven't got that, so it's now important that one of these, as I said earlier, one of these guys steps up, whether it be Trossard, whether it be Martinelli, whether it be, they have got to step up now, because at the end of the day, we've not done anything there. I look at it, you know, people turn around and say, I've got no problem with Wanyeri going out on loan. Not one problem whatsoever. I've said it all along. My problem was they never brought no one in. That is a problem as well, like, you know what I mean? I've got no issues with them taking Wanyeri out and saying, right, you know, you need to play regular and everything like that. But not to bring in anybody else, you know. And I'm sorry, I've heard all the conversations, Havertz coming back, it's like a new signing. Well, he weren't a new signing. You know what I mean? He's always been here.
I can't stand that. I hate when people say
that.
I
don't like that. I like the theory of it. Oh, yeah, he is, you know, and will be a different thing for us. But then again, you know, you're asking a player after 12 months to come back and be up and running straight away, which we know is, the proof's in the pudding now, because where is he now? Injured again. So for me, I think that I'm more angry about that than probably getting a forward in, like, because I can understand that maybe we didn't need that. You know, Jesus come back in December and has been pretty good for us. And not like a new signing, but I feel that, you know, if you're letting somebody like Wanyeri go, you've got to come in and bring somebody in, and they didn't do it, like, you know what I mean. So that was a little point for me.
The thing is, as well, lads, is, and I've said this before on these things, is that whenever we've had a title-winning team, we've had a Marwood, we've had a Limpar, we've had an Overmars, we've had a Perez, we've had not quite a title-winning team, but a Sanchez. It's such a no-brainer. That position was far more important than going and getting an Eza. It really was. I would rather have kept our powder dry with that and got the world-class left winger. I would have gone and bought Semenyo last summer rather than Eza. Go and dangle 70 million quid in front of Bournemouth and we'd have got him, because they knew he was going to be out of contract and gone. It was just such a no-brainer. Unless they just don't fancy him, well, they must be blind, surely, because that is a really quality player. He scores in big games with the pressure on. He's a quality player, that lad. It just don't make no sense to me. It just don't make no sense.
No, a lot of people were the same as you, Russ. A lot of people didn't understand that Wanyeri one, and they didn't understand why we didn't go for Semenyo. Obviously, we bought Eza and Madueke over him. Big up to Shay Tanya. He's gifted 5 memberships. Absolute legend. Thank you so much, Shay Tanya. You're a top bloke.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you. And if you're a new member, then you've got Shay Tanya to say thank you to. Let me ask this lastly. This is the last one before we close. Which player is going to be the most important for our end of season running?
That's a good one. The most important player.
I think it's got to be Declan Rice.
Yeah, keeping him fit is probably, it's a no-brainer to keep him fit. But
I think we need goals. Goals are going to win us this league. So for me, Saka.
Yeah. From the whole team point of view, and us not being vulnerable as a team, Rice. But then to win games, then you need your Sakas and your even Odegaard to come turn up. Does anyone think he's had enough of us? Does anyone think that he's actually run his course and he's had enough of the club?
Who?
Odegaard.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think he'll be gone in the summer, and I hope he is as well.
Do you honestly think that?
What, Saka gone?
No, Odegaard.
Oh, Odegaard. Sorry.
I think he'd be gone. Something's not right. People say he's injured and all this, and he's had a baby, and he's a vegan now, and all this crud. Let's just be real. He ain't playing very well. Yeah, and I don't think that he is feeling it, and I think he knows that we've moved past him, which is why.
I think you're right. I think it's a similar situation that we had with Zinchenko and Jesus. Yeah. I think that we've actually got to the stage now where we need to go up another level, and possibly even Martinelli as well. I think we need a more consistent player with more goals on that left-hand side, and it might be time to cash in on him because he's still quite young, and get a Rodrigo or a Semenyo type player.
I disagree with that. I think that they should get the big left-sided player, but Martinelli being the backup for it, because I think he's done fantastically well as that this season.
But if we want to spend big money, Lee, if we want to spend big money, one of them's going to have to go to make way.
We're in the Champions League for a reason, and we're earning a lot of money at that. I'd only sell Odegaard if you're selling Odegaard for 80 million, 60 to 80 million. I don't think you can turn around. I wouldn't want us to go, Wanyeri's the man to replace that.
Great question in the chat, by the way. My favourite player at the moment. Would any of the panel get Tonali? 100%. I love Tonali.
Yeah, what, instead of Odegaard? What, replace him with Odegaard or bring somebody in?
No, Tonali, sign him. Flog Odegaard and get Tonali.
I like Tonali.
I wouldn't be objective to that. I wouldn't be objective.
The problem you've got is I don't think Tonali plays in that attacking midfield position as much as I think it takes deeper. I think if we were going to get Tonali, it needs to be alongside another player for Odegaard. Like for me, I know it sounds mad. I said this to Russ earlier. If this club are in a position now where we are literally like the bee's knees and the club everybody wants to go and play for, then I'd go and smash £100 million, do another Declan Rice, go get Cole Palmer. That's what I'd do. Or Rodgers. Because I think Rodgers would be easier to get than Palmer. But those Chelsea owners are going to sit there and go, 100 million. That's £60 million profit straight in our pockets. Yes, thank you very much. We'll do that. This ain't Roman Abramovich, by the way.
What about Bellingham?
I've got to be real with you. I like him. Overrated as far as I'm concerned. I prefer Palmer and Rodgers. I've got to be honest. And I think that will show in England's team. I don't think Palmer is. I don't think Bellingham is this.
Bellingham's more of a powerful.
I've got a feeling that Bellingham. I'm not saying he's.
Is he going to leave Madrid then? Is he?
I think within the next year or so. Yeah, because I just think like things are all a little bit shaky at Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I think maybe he'll want to settle in the Premier League. I don't know.
I think those three positions will be looked at. I think the striker will be looked at again, not because Gyökeres ain't no good, because Jesus is going to go and Havertz is injury prone now. That's going to be looked at. The left wing is going to be looked at, and with Russ, because I don't know the long-term futures of Trossard and Martinelli. And I do think the Odegaard position will be looked at as well. I think them 3 positions will be looked at in the summer.
I'll still say it. Get me man in. Get me man Rodgers in. Can play.
Yeah, I like Rodgers. I like Rodgers.
Play 2 different positions. He can play wide and he can play in the 10. And I also think that he can play box to box 8 as well. So I think you're getting a player like him that can play three positions.
Yeah,
and I think that's something that you need. And Arteta likes that as well. Like, you know, that would be where I would go. And that would be the only reason. If you said to me to sign out to sell Odegaard and you're bringing in Rodgers, I would do that.
Interesting. Yeah. Anything on that, Russ, before we close?
No, I like Rodgers. And I don't know what the position with Villa is regarding their financial state. I know that their wages bill is very, very high. I think they're sailing very close to the wind. They've had a fine, haven't they, from UEFA recently. I think they might have to have a bit of a fire sale and recoup some money. So I love Morgan Rodgers.
The trouble is with Rodgers is he's going to have Champions League football in it. But is that enough? Just Champions League football? Do you, at the end of the day, does he feel that he's going to go on and win things with Aston Villa? I think at the end of the day, that's the question. That is the only reason you prize him away. Is that, you know, that you're not just going to be in the Champions League. You've got a chance of winning it. You've got a chance.
He was at Manchester City as a kid, weren't
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he is a Brummie, isn't he? Like, or he's in around that area. And I think was he at West Brom at first? I think I'm not sure. Like, but listen, he's the one guy that impresses me. I know someone said in the chat he didn't have a very good game against Newcastle. Well, he was up until the sending off, and then it all changed a bit, like, you know. So, and I agree with Kevin. It's going to cost a lot. That's why you've got to fund it with either selling an Odegaard or somebody like that. You know, I mean, you ain't going to be able to just go out and buy a Rodgers for 100 million. If you do go and buy Rodgers for 100 million, you ain't going to be out to buy anybody else. And I do think that we need to just freshen up the squad, if you know what I mean. Like, no need to major overhaul, but we do need to freshen it up to go again, like, you know. And listen,
what stage of the process are we at now then? What stage of the process are we at now then?
Well, we're on the finishing up process. Like,
win, you know, mate. Win. There's no more bloody stages or phases.
We're finishing our dinner stage.
We should be. Listen, I just want to know what's going wrong with Odegaard. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like, you know, is it this vegan stuff that I'm hearing and all that? Like, and all that? I'm not happy with it. Don't sit right with me. This is a player that was brilliant 2 years ago, picked up injuries last season, and you know, he's picked up, this is his 4th injury, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't seem like strong enough for whatever reason, like, you know. And I thought he'd done really well when he come on up until the goal. Listen, it'd be really interesting what happens there.
I've never really been a lover. Like, I've flipped and I've flopped. Yeah, maybe he is good. Maybe he ain't good enough. He's never been one of my favourite players. Some people loved him and overhyped him. He's not Paul Merson or Ozil or Fabregas or Cazorla, is he? Like, he's never been that. He's always been all right. You know, he had one really good year. That was it.
I'll tell you why the manager loves him, shall I? He's pressing and his ability to control the game at his own speed and keep the ball. That's why the manager loves him. He doesn't take big risks. He doesn't put us under the cosh from like bad passes that lead to counter-attacks. And that's why the manager loves him. He's, you know, you can't fault it. And when he came on the other night against Brentford, we were under the cosh big time. And he came on and all of a sudden we've got control of the game and we're in their half and we're all over them. Then we score and then it all goes to crap again. There's a mentality problem at this football club. When we take a lead, we seem to take our foot off the gas. They've got to stop.
True. So true.
They've got to stop doing
it's so true. 1-0 up against Man United, we sit back. 1-0 up against Brentford, we sit back. Why do we do that?
1-0 up against Wolves, sit back. What's
that
all about?
Yeah. Rob Seagal says Dan and Russ are vegans. Can see ain't done them no harm. Trust me.
I love a vegetarian sausage, me.
Look, people, we're gonna come to a close and wrap it up there. We'll be back in the week to look towards the Wolves game. Of course, we are going to be having the potential to go 7 points clear, which is a must-win game. Russ, absolute pleasure having you on, mate. Cheers for jumping on with me and Lee. Great to see you today as well. And I'm sure that you will be on my channel on Tuesday as well, so that'll be a good laugh. And Lee, always a pleasure, man. I'm glad that you're warm with your hat and your hoodie on. And, I'll let you see us out, mate.
I'm going to go and put the blanket around me now and just chill from watch a bit of a match of the day. And listen, enjoy Monday, enjoy Tuesday, and let's go through the mill on Wednesday.
The stress begins again.
Have a good Monday and Tuesday, and let's hope it's a stressful but enjoyable Wednesday.